You know, the Motorola DROID BIONIC was the phone that was supposed to rule all machines. I'm not quite sure what the Motorola DROID RAZR is, but two things are for sure. One, the specs are better, and two, the body looks better as well. Here it is, the Motorola DROID RAZR. It's coming to Verizon tomorrow, 11/11/11 at 11:11 a.m. I know it's a lot of 11s, but that's when the stores are opening for this bad boy. It's going to be available for $299.99, and this thing comes 2 months after the Motorola DROID BIONIC, and also they're reprising that iconic RAZR brand name. You can see 7.1 millimeters thin with a dual-core 1.2 gigahertz processor, an 8-megapixel camera, 4.3-inch QHD display, actually QHD Super AMOLED Advanced. Try mixing all those terms together. QHD Super AMOLED Advanced display and more. It's running Android 2.3 and it is ice cream sandwich ready, according to Motorola. Now, is this a device to get? Should you buy this when the Galaxy Nexus is on the way? The HTC Rezound is right around the corner. We'll find out in the review. But first, got to give some love to my boys at Best Buy Mobile, because when you go into Best Buy Mobile tomorrow to get this, you'll walk out working. They'll help you set up your email, your web. They'll get this thin device right in your pocket, like I did that little thing right in your pocket, where you don't have to worry about setting up email, web, or anything else. They'll do it for you at Best Buy Mobile. Let's take a look at this Motorola DROID RAZR. Part 2 of the Motorola DROID RAZR review, and you know what that means. It means I'm going to take some questions from Twitter. I'm there on PhoneDog_Aaron, and I reached out a few minutes ago and asked if you had any questions about the DROID RAZR, and a couple of people have responded, so I'm going to start and answer some of those. Kentucky Lone wants to know battery life and the on-screen keyboard. Well, on-screen keyboard was covered in part 1, but what I will say about the battery life, 1,780 milliamp hour battery. It's non-removable, but what I will give them credit for is the fact that it's pretty decent battery life. I haven't even turned on Motorola's Smart Actions, which is something I'll discuss in just a second. But without turning on Smart Actions, I've been able to make it through the day with moderate use. You know, texting, emailing, calling, downloading some apps, doing things like that. I've been able to make it through about 11 or 12 hours. So for the most part of the workday, without requiring a charge. Now, if you do have trouble with battery, Motorola has pre-installed something called Smart Actions on this device. And Smart Actions, like it says here, can make tasks easier by automating actions you do every day. So I've used some samples here. I think this is pretty cool. You can adjust your device settings at home or at work. You can play music when you use headphones. Kind of set up the device to how you want it. And little things like you could turn off power draining features to help your battery last longer. So if you know you're really not going to use your phone after 10 o'clock at night, you could turn on the battery extender, for example, and you could say display off, you know, not charging, motion detector, and you could set all these kind of little things that when there's a motion detection, I can link that up together, and then I can turn on actions and add a rule. So when this rule is met, when this rule is met, when this rule is met, certain things turn off. So it's a pretty cool, and we're going to discard that change. But you can turn on quiet locations too. So it knows GPS-wise when I walk into the office, for example, I can select a location and Wi-Fi must be on, and I can select the location, for example, the office, and it'll automatically turn it to silent mode whenever I walk out of the or walk into the building, which is really nice. And then little things like that, you know, it turns off the ringer when you go to bed. You can set times. You can have it open up maps when you're in your car. So you can do all these little things, and I have to give them credit because I've tried a couple of them, and they've worked pretty well, and they have prolonged the battery. But again, I just used it as little samples. I mean, I don't have any good numbers for you, but you know, lately I've been keeping it turned off, and I haven't had any issues with battery without them. But again, if you do have issues with the battery, Smart Actions are there to help you out, which is pretty cool. And hopefully before I do the written review, I'll probably turn them back on just to get an idea, a full idea as to how they work and how they really impact the battery. But I will say again, you know, 1,780 milliamp hour battery, it's not the biggest battery in the world by any means, but it's certainly done a decent job powering this device throughout the day with the type of usage I've put it through. So good question on the battery. Next one is it this week's top Android phone? Yeah, it's this week's top Android phone, but the Galaxy Nexus and some more are coming out, the Rezound and more are coming soon. So that's something to keep in mind. Is there a dedicated camera button? That leads me in to the 8-megapixel camera. There is no dedicated camera button. But what I will say, the camera is very good on this thing, and the 1080p HD video recording is absolutely fantastic. So let me grab something here I can take a picture with. I'll take this pen, for example. And I'm going to focus in on the writing on the actual pin itself there, for example. So it auto focuses in, and I've got the on-screen button, and I've got the ability to turn it to the front-facing camera, as you can see. Bam, there I am. And then you can turn it back and go to video by clicking the toggle there. So we'll go back to the main camera. 8-megapixel camera with 1080p HD video recording. I can press and hold and get a focus in on that text. For example, when I let go, it takes the picture. And I have to give it credit because that's a pretty impressive picture for a Motorola device, or for any device, period. Like zooming in, take a look at how the quality of that You can see that's a really, really impressive picture. And the 1080p HD video, I actually still have it on here if I remember right. So we'll take a look at that video as well so you can get an idea as to what it looks like. Let's go in here, go to my library, and we'll go over here and take a look at this video. Not just the image quality, but listen to the audio quality. That's where it really excels. The noise cancellation is excellent on this. How's it going, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDoc.com. I'm testing a 1080p HD video recording on the Motorola DROID RAZR. So, apparently it's 4:15 in the afternoon. You can already tell the sun's kind of starting to set in the Charlotte metro area. And, there's not a lot of traffic. So you can see, the noise cancellation is very good. The image quality, rather, is great as well. But it's definitely one of the best 1080p camcorders I've worked with on a mobile phone in some time. Really, really good job here. So if you do take a lot of images or a lot of videos with your phone, take a look at this phone because it really does a good job. Definitely passed the test in the camera department. Let's take a look at speed test too. We'll open up quadrant standard and speed test, of course, and take a look at this. So let's get quadrant standard started up. Do I not have quadrant standard on here? Huh, I guess I haven't installed it yet. Yep, I haven't installed it yet. Let's take a look at speed test though. We'll go ahead and do that one. And I started. And this is Verizon's 4G LTE network that's running behind the DROID RAZR, so it's very, very fast. And you can see my results and kind of a comparison across different parts of the city. This was in North Charlotte. I got about 7.5 megabits per second. These are here at the office, 10.45, 11.79. I've gotten as high as 20, almost 20 megabits per second. And let's see what it does right now, because it's about 5:30. It's kind of in rush hour time. So let's see how it does here. And I'll talk a little bit about call quality as well. Motorola is known for exceptional call quality. The wireless radio has always been good in Motorola devices. No different here. Both the earpiece is nice and loud. When I take it to fringe areas, it does really, really well. And I haven't had any problems. My callers say I sound great. Everything sounds good on my end as well. So speakerphone and the earpiece have been nice and loud. So about 19.29 megabits per second here on the download, 6.72 megabits per second on the upload. Very fast. But again, there's a Verizon repeater right across from my office on the Marriott. So something to keep, or it looks like a Verizon repeater, I should say. So keep that in mind, but still excellent LTE speeds on this device all across the board. Been very pleased with both the download and the upload speeds. I'm going to go in here and download quadrant standard, since apparently I didn't download it before the video. So we're going to go ahead and do quadrant, and we'll do it here, and I'll show you what the market looks like. First of all, if you're really, really astute, you'll notice that the little bag here has changed in quadrant standard. The text up here has gotten ever so slightly smaller. You can see they've changed that around. And I need to look and see if they've done it to any other Android devices, because so far I've just noticed it on this one. So we'll go ahead and download. You can see how quickly quadrant standard downloaded, but you got your screenshots, your description, automatic updating, what's new, description, reviews, developer, what users installed and viewed, and then market content as well. So it looks better. It's a better looking Android market. You can see the bag here is slightly changed in comparison to previous Android devices. A little bit of a different icon there. But let's go ahead and load up quadrant standard and take a look at it. Okay, run the full benchmark, and while that's running, I'm going to show you the device again and talk a little bit more about the device. So again, incredibly thin device, feels good. I haven't had any problems with it overheating. That was a Twitter question. It's not hot right now, and I noticed either being in my pocket or on calls for more than about 30 minutes, I haven't really had an overheating problem with this device. I mean, it's warm. I mean, it's kind of warm, but it doesn't seem any different than any other device I've worked with. This one gets kind of warm when I make calls on it. The iPhone 4S does as well on the back. So, I mean, it doesn't seem anything out of the ordinary. It's not overheating by any means, based on what I can tell. It seems to be pretty relatively normal. So, I mean, yeah, you get a little warmth, but nothing to be alarmed about. So, quadrant standard's running now. We'll take a look. And, of course, it's important to note that this isn't indicative of anything really. It's, not indicative of day-to-day performance. It's more of a benchmark. So, 2,523 on quadrant standard. So 2,523, a little bit behind the Galaxy S2 line, but still not bad at all nonetheless. So let's go back from downloaded and take a look at all apps. I want to show you one more thing, and let's take a look. I want to see if I can activate it here. I don't think I can activate Moto Active, but I just wanted to show it to you since this is the first device that comes pre-installed with it. So it shares your phone notifications on your device. So you have to have the Moto Active device, so you'll never miss a text, a call, or a meeting. And they showed this off at the Motorola event. If you have the Motorola or the Moto Active unit and you get a text message over here, you can sync up these devices. So if somebody, your girlfriend, your wife, your boyfriend, your husband, whoever calls you or text messages you, you'll see it pop up on the Active, and you can read it instantly and stop and respond if you need to. So we can learn more and take a look at it by going to motoactive.com, which I'm sure if it's a graphics intensive site, we won't spend too much time on it. But that's the Moto Active unit, as you can see there. And then, like I said, you can sync up, kind of like a little iPod Nano, but you can sync up between the two devices, and it makes for a great little companion while you're running. Let's see if I have any more Twitter questions before we sign off here and say goodbye to the Droid RAZR. Let's see. Spill some water on it to see if it's really water resistant. Yeah, I don't think Verizon would like me very much if I did that. In baseball terminology, what would you give it? I'll answer that one at the end. How does it handle populated image galleries compared to other phones? We'll take a look at that again. Will it be as good as the original quality device? Should I get the RAZR? Okay, so let's take a look at that. Somebody asked about the gallery, and I'll go back in, even though you saw that a second ago. But here's what the gallery looks like. I can easily add photos and videos to my phone, and then I can go over here and see backup assistant. Moto Cast, which is what they showed off at the event. I can sync music and stuff from my computer with Moto Cast. It's pretty quick and pretty easy. And then, of course, here's the gallery as well. So I can click on, or excuse me, I can go to my library and see my timeline, and I can access it by locations, tags, folders, or albums as well. So I've got that option to do. So you can see some samples there here that I've taken with text and more. It's definitely a great camera. I've been really impressed with it, and they did a good job on that. So in terms of baseball, I give it, I definitely give it a solid triple. I don't really know baseball that well because it's not my sport, but I'm more of a football, more of a basketball guy, but I give it a triple, a solid triple, maybe even a home run, because they've done a great job with this device. The downside is Motorola DROID BIONIC customers are going to be kind of frustrated because they're like, we bought a device 2 months ago and it's already been outdated by another Motorola device, not just another Android device, but another Motorola device. It's thinner, that's better looking, that packs more specs, but again, that's the name of the game in the Android world, and in the name of the game even more now that it's the holiday season. So be prepared for that, but still an excellent device, really, really thin, feels good in the hand. I was pretty shocked at how good this device felt in the hand when I played with it at the Motorola event in New York City. So it's a good looking device with a great camera. If you're looking for a good Android unit, I don't think you can go wrong with this. That said, if stock Android's your thing and you're really waiting for ice cream sandwich, the Galaxy Nexus may be the phone for you, and it already is confirmed coming to Verizon. So if you're a customer already, I'd say, yeah, you may want to hold off and see between the two when they're both available on retail shelves which one's the best for you. But still an excellent handset. It's worth, well, I don't know if any phone's really worth $300, but it's definitely worth and compares to the other devices that are $300 on the nation's largest wireless carrier. Much more coverage to come on PhoneDog.com with the Motorola DROID RAZR. Be sure to like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. We pose all kinds of interesting questions on there, just like what I asked. Galaxy Nexus or DROID RAZR, so check it out, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. Hit me up on Twitter as well, and let me know what you think of this device. If you're holding off for the Galaxy Nexus, or you really want this phone, you want the KEVLAR goodness on the back, you want that Gorilla Glass stuff on the front, all kinds of craziness, let me know. PhoneDog_Aaron, and on Facebook at my page, Facebook.com/PhoneDogAB. Thanks so much for watching. More coverage to come on the Motorola DROID RAZR, so keep it locked on the best mobile phone site in the whole wide world, PhoneDog.com. We'll see you next time.